Hello everybody, welcome to Wednesday's edition of the Chris Pritchard Cycling News Show. Let's get into it. Now before we get into the news, don't forget if you've not purchased your tickets already for the August draw at Win Your Dream Bike, now is the best opportunity to do it, well, after this video. Follow the link down in the description, go and buy your tickets. If you head over to the website now, you'll be able to see how many tickets we've actually sold, so you can see what the odds of you winning that are. So yeah, if you want to go and buy your tickets, then feel free, pop over to the link down in the description, buy your tickets and get ready for the draw, which is going to be Bank Holiday Monday around noontime. But if you subscribe to the channel, if you hit that notification bell, you'll know when we go live, so you can sit back, watch it, and prepare for the phone call to say that you have won your dream bike. News time. All right, and first up, let's talk about the Women's National Championships. We covered the men's on Monday. I said we were going to cover the women's on Wednesday today. Now, obviously, there wasn't too much TV coverage of the women's races. Obviously, still a lot of work to do there. However, there was for the Spanish and the French. We're going to cover those as well as the rest of the national championships right now. So starting with the Spanish National Championship, it was Mavi Garcia who took the victory. She finished ahead of Santesteban. Garcia made her move at 9.7 kilometers to go. She rode away from Santesteban and she was never seen again, crossing the line with a gap of 2 minutes and 11 seconds ahead of her Spanish compatriot. Over in the French Championship, it was Audrey Cordon-Rago, who took the national title. She finished 38 seconds ahead of two riders in Verhulst and Copponi. And similar to the Spanish Championship, coming in the last 5 kilometers this time, Cordon-Rago made her attack. Copponi was the only rider who could try and stay with her, but unfortunately the elastic eventually broke on that one as well, and Cordon-Rago soloed her way to victory, finishing 38 seconds ahead of that sprint for second place, which went to Team Arkea's Gladys Verhulst. So over in the Netherlands, it was Anna van der Breggen who took the national title over there, ahead of Annemiek van Vleuten in second place. Over in Germany, the national championship went to Lisa Brennauer. In Denmark, it was Emma Cecilia Norsgaard who took the national championship there. And obviously, the European Championships are now underway. Adding to her national road race title is Anna van der Breggen, who adds a European individual time trial championship to her palmarès. Now, prior to the European Championship starting, obviously we had the Grand Prix des Pluies, which essentially was an all-Brit affair. I don't know if that was down to the weather and the grit and determination of these two northern ladies. But anyway, the weather was shocking. But essentially, this came down to a sprint of the two Lizzies, Lizzie Deignan and Lizzie Banks, sprinting for victory, and such an amazing, inspirational woman. Lizzie Deignan takes the victory. I still find this amazing that she's a mum. She's a full-time mum, she's a full-time pro, and she just makes it look so easy. The sprint for third place went to Chiara Consoni. She actually thought she'd won by the looks of the way she came over the line celebrating, but it wasn't to be. Little did she know that 1 minute and 13 seconds up the road was Lizzie Banks and Lizzie Deignan sprinting out for the actual victory. But Lizzie Banks seemed pretty happy with that second place. Now, slightly better weather for the men's race. It started out a bit damp and dreary, but it soon improved. The sun came out, and coming into the final 500 metres, two riders were up the road. One of them was Niels Eckhoff, and he looked so strong. He looked so good. He looked like he was clearly the strongest rider out of the peloton. And I think had Michael Matthews, the winner of this race, not been in that sprint for the finish, then Eckhoff could have really just put the hammer down in that final 500 metres and potentially taken the victory. But he's a team player, and the team were clearly working for Michael Matthews. And it's a good job that Matthews took the victory there, because had he not, I mean, that would not have gone down very well. And probably one of the highlights from this race is sixth place going to Quinn Simmons, junior road race world champion, making his World Tour debut this year, and coming away from Britannia Classic with a sixth place. That is not to be sniffed at for the 19-year-old. Next up, and let's turn our attention now to the Tour de France. Everybody's excited about it. 3 days away now. I'm still terrified that the rug is going to be pulled from under us at any point, and this is not going to go ahead. But we've been patient, we've been waiting, and finally we might get to see a Tour de France in 2020. But one man that still might not be making his way to the start line is Primož Roglic. Now, the majority, I'm sure, will know already that Primož Roglic suffered a crash during stage 4 of the Dauphiné. He managed to get back on his bike, he made it to the finish. However, he didn't take part at the start of stage 5. The team withdrew him, but not for a specific injury that he'd suffered, they didn't come out and say he's damaged X, Y, and Z or he's broken X, Y, and Z. They just, what looked like as a precaution to make sure that he made it to the Tour de France as fit as he could be. When I reported on this, I said potentially it could just be mind games, that he's trying to trick people, potentially getting them to adjust their tactics, to potentially push a lot harder in that first week to try and crack him within the first week if he's fully not recovered. Or he was telling the truth in that description that he really isn't feeling great and he was hoping to feel a lot better than he actually does. And then on an update to this story, Primoz Roglic's partner, who's just released a brand new book all about Primoz and his Vuelta experience, said this in an interview. Talking to Slovenian TV, she said, "The most important question at the moment is whether Primoz will start. We all want that, but we are waiting for confirmation. The crash has grounded everything. It could have been much worse, but why did it have to happen just before the start of the Tour?" I think it's safe to say, look, Jumbo-Visma has selected him in their team. They're going to take him regardless. He's going to take to the start line, but is he going to be able to get through 3 weeks if he is not 100%? How are teams going to attack him in that first week if he's not 100%? It's such a shame. I think everybody not only wants Jumbo-Visma to win. Now, even though he's going in as favourite, normally when someone goes in as a favourite, everybody roots for the underdog. But still, even though they've shown great form this year, Jumbo-Visma are still going into it as the underdog. They haven't won the Tour de France with Primoz or Tom Dumoulin, so they deserve it. They've been knocking at their door. They've been working tirelessly to make this happen, so it would be such a shame to not see it happen. But you can't help thinking if this was Egan Bernal and the shoe was on the other foot, that people would be like, I kind of don't want him to race anyway. I'd sooner see someone else, because even though Primoz is the favourite, you can't look beyond the current Tour de France champion in Egan Bernal. But let me pass the question off to you on this one. What do you think to this? Smoke and mirrors? Is it genuine? Should we be concerned that Primoz potentially couldn't get through these 3 weeks of the Tour de France? Like I said, there is no doubt that he won't be taken to the start. He'll definitely be on that start line, but it's just whether he can ride himself back into fitness without losing too much time in that first week, where potentially now teams are looking at him thinking, let's sock it to him. Leave your comments down below and let me know what you think to this. And then finally, let's talk about a rider that's making his Tour de France debut. Connor Swift is going to be riding for Team Arkea Samsic in support of Nairo Quintana. And luckily for me, I had a chance to chat to him yesterday, and he has that interview right now.
Hello.
Connor Bloody Swift.
How's it going?
Sound, mate, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad.
Mate, let's get straight into this. First off, congratulations. You must
Thank
be
you.
absolutely peaking.
Yeah, obviously it's going into the unknown, but yeah, excited, nervous, yeah.
So how did, before we get into I want to talk, because I remember seeing you back in fact, let's talk about it now. Lincoln 2016, it'll always stick in my memory. I went down there, I made a little video with Madison Genesis, and I remember filming you, sat outside your little van. I think Sean was with you, and you were just pinning your numbers on. And to think 4 years later, you're riding the Tour de France.
Yeah.
Did you even... Obviously, that's the aim of a professional cyclist, to get to this point. But did you ever think 4 years down the line, you'd be getting selected to not only ride a Tour de France, but to be a supporting rider to a main GC contender?
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. No, obviously, being a professional cyclist, obviously you want to be racing the biggest races there are in the world, and obviously I think the Tour de France is right up there with that.
A little bit.
But no, yeah, obviously how fast it kind of came around, and it's pretty crazy, and obviously I would have said that obviously I've wanted to ride the Tour de France, and it's been a dream to do it. There was a video published on Twitter yesterday, and I did this interview in 2017. I was watching the Tour, commenting on one of the stages. Ben was riding it, and I was talking about it, and then the guys behind the lens said, "Oh, would you ever like to ride the Tour de France?" And obviously, and then I quoted on there, I just kind of said, "I'd never say never. It'd be a dream come true." And then my girlfriend reposted that last night, and just watching that back kind of, it all sinks in. And I just think it's great. And obviously, hopefully it can, inspire like other, young British up-and-coming cyclists as well.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure it will. So at what point did you get the call that someone phoned you and, Connor, you're coming to the Tour?
Yeah, it was never like that. It was kind of after Paris-Nice and having a good race there, and supporting Quintana there. It was kind of, there was a few talks around, you'll be great, needed in the Tour team sort of thing, because of the few stages that there is this year with potential crosswinds, etc. And then when we was into lockdown, I actually kind of got a call from the DS, and we was going over different race programs and different scenarios for when the season was going to start. And he kind of just dropped it in there, just like, and then you'll ride the Tour. And then I kind of and then I kind of like carried on with the conversation, and then I like repeated what he said to me, and I was like, the Tour. And he was like, yeah. And then I was like, I didn't really act over excited on the phone or anything. I just like kind of took it. Yeah, and then obviously I came off the phone and then told the girlfriend and that, and then obviously it's always been in the back of my mind since then. But it's never been like, I've never been told like, you are riding the Tour, like shut down sort of thing, because obviously everything that's going on. And then leading up to the race season restarting, the team kind of said, you need to do a training camp in the mountains. So then that kind of called off me racing Milan-San Remo. So then I ended up going to the Pyrenees and did a training camp in the mountains there. And then, I've done 2 races. And then now it's obviously official. So, yeah.
Yeah, man. How are you feeling about everything after lockdown? Have you been training through? I've kind of kept an eye on your Instagram. You've obviously been training, but has it affected kind of where you feel you should be at, or are you exactly where you need to be?
I think it's a strange one, and everyone's kind of in the same sort of boat. Like, obviously, no one's raced tons, and everyone's done the training and kind of done what they think they should be doing. I've been, working closely, with the team coaches and my personal coach. And no, I'd say like numbers wise, I'm producing the best I've ever done. My weights, like race weight, etc. And I'm really happy with how I was in the Pyrenees. Happy with my last race that I was in Limousin, making the front bunch every day, and following moves and attacking. I kind of just feel like just want to get going into the race, and I feel like there'll be quite a lot of other people that are nervous and kind of in the same boat of not actually knowing whereabouts they are, and I think quite a lot of riders will be kind of riding into it as well. It's just a case of just I've done everything I can, and I can't gain any more or lose anything this week. It's just a case of just getting started.
And what will you be happy with? Are you going in there with any expectations at all, or are you just taking it day by day and seeing how you get on?
Yeah, I think day by day is important. The team, it's the stage 7, 10 and 11 that are potentially, they're like my highlighted days of, need to be able to protect and help the team there. And then after that, it's just a case of just see how things go. Obviously, I'm going there to help the team as much as possible where I can. And then after that, who knows if the team might be keen, those days that, 30, 40 guys go up the road or whatever, the team, might say to me, there's no stress today sort of thing in the GC side of things, Connor, have a go sort of thing, or potentially in the final one day, when there's not tons of stress for, the Barguil or Quintana isn't going to lose any time sort of thing. They might even say then, give it a go sort of thing. So if that does occur, then that'll be great. And, that's kind of like above my expectations. That's just me thinking what they could potentially say. Yeah. But obviously just being selected and, being a rider in the squad and just trying to help as much as I can. That's pretty good.
Oh, wow. Yeah, mate. You should be extremely proud of yourself. You've done so well. Right, I'm going to leave you to it, mate. So you're obviously very, very busy.
Thank you.
You've got a lot of preparation going on. So
best pack my suitcase.
Yeah, you best do. Don't forget your mask as well.
It won't do.
Nice one. Appreciate it, Connor.
Cool. Cheers for that.
Bud. Good luck.
Bye bye. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget, Win Your Dream Bike Draw closes Thursday, midnight UK time. Link is down in the description. Go and buy your tickets. Do all those nice things that I always tell you to do, like hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you've disliked the video for whatever reason, hit that dislike button and move along swiftly. Other than that, I'll see the rest of you all soon. Bye.